welcome to Grandma B's Busy Life. I'm Brenda. I'm so glad that you're here and you clicked on my video. I really do appreciate it. If you're new here, on my channel, I post cooking videos, budget shopping, frugal ideas, and other things that come up in my life. And I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So if you like those kind of videos, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any more videos. Today, I'm going to use 1 gallon of milk to make many things, and I'm going to show you all the things I can make with 1 gallon of milk. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is measure out 4 cups of milk and put it into this heavy bottom saucepan. All right, now the rest of this milk is going to go into my Instant Pot. I'm making a farmer's cheese out of this, and out of this I'm going to make yogurt and cream cheese. I don't ever use exact measurements for my yogurt. Usually I just make a full gallon, but because I want to make some farm cheese, I had to measure some out of that. All right, you're going to set the Instant Pot to yogurt, and then I need to adjust it so that it says boil. And then I'm going to put a lid on top. You can use your regular lid, but I just like to set a regular loose lid on top just to keep the dust and stuff out. It's going to heat the yogurt up to 180 degrees, and that's what we're waiting for. So we will test it. Usually after 1 boil session, it's ready, but we'll see. Okay, in this pot we're going to make farm cheese, and I've got my milk on high, and we're going to bring it to almost a boil. As soon as it comes to a boil, we're going to add about 1/4 cup of lemon juice. You could use plain white vinegar, but I'm just going to use bottled lemon juice, and we'll mix it in and I'll show you what happens as it goes. Okay, in the pot that I put the 4 cups of milk, I've just heated it up till it's almost boiling. You can see that it's bubbly on top, but it's not boiling yet. And now I'm going to add 1/4 cup of just bottled lemon juice, and I'm going to add it slowly while I'm stirring. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to curdle the milk, and the curds will separate from the whey. The curds is what we're going to turn into the cheese. And the whey, you can do lots of different things with the whey, but this is really, really great to give to animals, the whey that's left over from making this cheese. You can see it's already starting to work. See the curds there? Now, it's all turned off, and it's mixed really well, so I'm just going to put a lid on it and let it sit for about 10 minutes to really let that lemon juice work. Okay, the milk has sat for 10 minutes, and it's just got little curds in it, but don't worry, that's exactly what we want. I'm going to dump it through this cheesecloth. Now, this is not a cheesecloth, this is a bandana. I like to use the bandana because it is just like using a tea towel, only I have lots of bandanas. I'm going to let all of the whey drip out. It's very, very hot. I'm sure you can see the steam. All right. Then I just like to take it and put it on a towel. It's so hot that I can't squeeze it with my hands, so I just put it on a towel, fold it over, and squeeze. I'm just trying to get all of the whey out of the curds. All right, now it's still really hot, but I'm going to put it into my bowl. Look at that. Now this is a really soft cheese. It doesn't melt, but it's really good crumbled on top of the salad or on top of a sandwich. Now it does need a little bit of salt for flavor. Just mix it in really good. All right. So at this point, you could just use it the way it is and crumble it on top of something. I like to chill it, but you could also add chives or onions or garlic or even cranberries and walnuts, something like that, to it. It's a mild cheese and it's delicious. All right, I'm just going to pop the lid on this and pop it in the fridge. Let it cool off. Okay, it's at 180 degrees. So now I'm just going to turn it off. And I want, all the way off. And I'm going to just leave the lid on it. And I want the temperature to drop between 95 and 110. And it takes several hours, and I'm going to stir it occasionally just to keep the even temperature throughout all the milk. Now the milk is cooled down to 100 degrees. It needs to be between 95 and 110. And I've just got some yogurt here. It's just 2 or 3 tablespoons of plain yogurt. You don't want to use a flavored yogurt. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of the milk in with the yogurt just to get it nice and smooth, so I can make sure that it gets even in the yogurt. All right, now I'm just going to pour it into the yogurt. And give it a good mix. And the lid goes back on. Now over here, I'm going to push the yogurt button again and adjust it more than 8 hours. I like to do mine for 12, and then I just wait. Okay, the big reveal. I know, it just looks white, right? But look. It is a creamy, yummy yogurt. But we're not done. Okay, I just have a big pot with a colander on top. And then I take coffee filters. And line the whole thing. And it usually takes about 6 coffee filters. Now I'm just going to scoop as much as will fit in there. And then I just take 1 coffee filter and put it on top. That keeps it from getting a skin on top. And it's already dripping way out the bottom. This is going to give me a very thick yogurt, and then we're going to take it a little farther and make cream cheese. So I'm just going to stick this in my fridge and let it drip for about 8 hours. With the rest of the yogurt that is in this container, I'm just going to pour into this coffee filter and give it a mild drain. It'll only drain for about an hour or so. I don't ever scrape the bottom of the pan because it has some milk solids. So I just leave that and wash it out. So I'm just going to leave this part for about an hour or so. I'm going to put a coffee filter on top of it too. Alright, and I'm going to leave this in the fridge for about an hour. Alright, this sat for about an hour or so. As you can see, there's quite a bit of whey in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. It should be clear. If it's not clear, then you have gotten some yogurt down in there. And this, I'm just going to scoop it into my jar. Oh, what a mess. I don't know why I didn't use that to start with. And for the most part, this will just peel right off of the coffee filter. So that's it. That's how the yogurt is made. And you can see it's a nice thick yogurt. Love it. And I just use an old lid that I've washed and keep it in the fridge. And it's good for, oh, I've had it last several weeks. Lasts quite a long time. Okay, now let's talk about the cream cheese. This is at yogurt consistency now. It has thickened up. Sometimes I like to stir it a few times, just being careful which way I'm pushing the coffee filters so I don't make a mess. And then it'll continue to drain. Just move the thicker stuff to the top and the more liquidy stuff to the bottom. And then it allows it to continue to drain. Put this coffee filter back on. No sense getting a new one. And I'm going to stick it back in the fridge for several more hours. Alright, this has drained quite a bit. As you can see, it's about 2 or 3 inches down, and it was full clear to the top. So now I'm going to take the next step. I took some of these freeze-dried raspberries and crushed them up into a little bowl. And I'm going to scoop some of this mixture into the bowl. Mix that up. I've never tried this before, so I'm not sure what's going to happen here. But they are just raspberries, so I'm guessing they'll absorb some of the liquid and make a really delicious raspberry cream cheese. We'll see. Then I'm going to take this next bowl. I'm going to put some dried chives in it and some Italian seasoning, and I'm going to put a little bit of peppers and onions. And then put some of the mixture in. I'm trying to make this like the garden veggie that you can buy. Alright, that one's ready. And the last bit of this, I'm just going to do plain. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got this little container lined with 3 coffee filters, because this is still got quite a bit of moisture. So I'm wanting to get as much moisture out as possible. going to take a couple of coffee filters, like 2, and just fold them and place them on top. They don't have to be perfect. And then put the lid on. And I'm going to leave this to soak up more moisture and to solidify for about 24 to 48 hours in the fridge. I'm going to do the same thing with my other flavors. All right, I'm going to place the 3 of these into the fridge for a couple of days. Okay, here are the 4 things that I made from the gallon of milk. I have this yogurt, and I'm going to actually stir it up a little bit to show you. And I've eaten some of this, but it is a nice, thick Greek-style yogurt because it has been strained. So that's one thing. And it was about to here, it was almost a full pint of yogurt. And then I also got this cheese. And this cheese is a crumbly type cheese, but it is really good on a salad, mixed in an egg salad sandwich or a tuna fish sandwich. It's really good eaten just the way it is. But I highly recommend that you add the salt to it because it really gives it a great flavor. It brings out the flavor of the cheese. This is really delicious. And then the last thing is this cream cheese. Now first I'm going to show you this one. It's almost gone because I couldn't wait. I've eaten almost all of it. This was the garden one where I added the peppers and the onions. And I also added some salt. I didn't show that on camera because I didn't add it at the time. But when I went to use it, I realized it did need a little bit of salt. But it was so good. And this was mostly full, but now it's mostly gone. And then I have the plain cream cheese. It's got some crumbs in it, of course, because I've been using it. It's just a regular soft cream cheese, but it is very, very good. And I did add a little bit of salt to this, but not much. I recommend adding it before you put it into the container with the coffee filters. Okay, I've left this one, and I've not done anything with this one because I wanted to show you what to do. So I have the coffee filters in there, and you can see it's soaked up a lot, and I just take the top coffee filter off and get rid of it. And then I take this out. Let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to pop this out and just set it here. And there's some moisture in the bottom of that, and I just take a paper towel and dry it out. That's just the way. That's the way it is. Just kidding. That's just the way from the milk. And I just dry it out. And then I take the coffee filter off. And it's still somewhat wet. But I just grab the cream cheese and just drop it in. And it's ready. It's ready to go on a bagel. So you can see it's a pretty soft cream cheese, and it has the raspberries in there. And it is so good. There's one more thing that you get from 1 gallon of milk. And it's the thing you get most of, and that's whey. And I saved some of the whey. It's a clear liquid, yellowish tint, and I use it like buttermilk. Any recipe that calls for buttermilk, I use whey. It has the same cultures in it that buttermilk does that gives it that reactivity to the baking soda that helps give it the rise, which is why we use buttermilk in the first place. And I just use whey. I don't save it all. It makes about 4 times this much. It will fill a quart jar. I just keep about this much because it's enough for me before I make my next batch of stuff that I make with milk. One thing I wanted to talk about with the yogurt, my favorite way to eat this is just plain, but it is a much better flavor than any plain yogurt you'll get at the store. It's much sweeter, less tart, but I like to put it in a bowl with a spoonful of homemade jam and eat it like that. I don't even stir it up. I just take a little tiny bit of jam and a scoop of the yogurt and eat it like that. For my grandkids though, I stir it up and it's just strawberry yogurt because it's strawberry jam and the yogurt together and they love it. With the yogurt, I can use this yogurt as my culture for the next batch. I usually do that. Sometimes I eat all my yogurt and end up having to buy another cup of plain yogurt. But if you save this and use a tablespoon of this in your next batch, you will never even have to buy yogurt again to make all of this stuff. But my favorite thing of all of this is really hard to pick. I loved the cream cheese, loved it. But I also have discovered I love this cheese. It is so good. I like just breaking off a little piece and eating it. It has such a mild, delicious flavor. Love it. I just eat it like a snack mostly. So 4 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 different things I got from 1 gallon of milk. I got whey, I got yogurt, cheese, farm cheese, and 3 different kinds of cream cheese. And out of the 3 cream cheeses, the garden was my favorite. But the other 2 are so amazing also. So it's hard to say what my favorite is. 1 gallon of milk, 5 things. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I hope you try it out. Let me know in the comments if you try it or if you do other things with your milk. And have a great day. I'll see you again soon.